Hey, what's up, Facebook? What's up, YouTube? What's going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everybody is doing well. Of course, I don't do this by myself, so let me bring my panel on. Of course, this is the First Lady of BMC. Let's bring on Shay. What's going on, baby?
Hey,
How you feeling?
wonderful. Ready for this conversation?
Okay, okay, all right. Let me bring the man with the plan. What's up, Q? What's going on, bro?
Yo, what's going on, everybody?
Hey,
I'm good.
Q.
How's work going?
I'm ready to get this show on the road. I
All
like
right,
this topic.
all right. So listen, y'all. Then we got a guest host, right? So this guest host, man, he's a dating coach. He's a dating and relationship coach. He's also the host of the Cognac Room podcast. So everybody, let's welcome Mr. Jay Christian to the show.
Welcome,
What's up, brother?
welcome.
What's going on? How are you all?
We doing pretty good. We doing pretty good. You ready for this, man?
I'm ready.
All righty, all righty. What's up, everybody in the comments? Becca Timbe, what's up? Chill out. What's up, man? Make sure y'all bring y'all comments. Listen, we got a dating and a relationship coach. If y'all single, y'all having issues, this is the time to bring all of your questions so he can help you. So let's get into it. So I like to open up the show with an icebreaker. So the icebreaker is let me see. If you were the president of the United States, what is one thing that you would tackle first? And I'm gonna go with you, First Lady, since you're the lady.
Oh, God, no. Please, please go to the podcast. If I could change, you know what? I would change that it would be illegal to have homeless people on your street. So you would have to house them somewhere. I would
Okay.
make it illegal because I don't want people. I don't like to see homeless people. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I would tackle homelessness.
All right. Jay, what you got? What's the first thing you would tackle?
I think the first thing I would tackle would be the issue of cops killing unarmed individuals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd put a stop to that, or at least implement some severe consequences.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that one. Q, what you got for us?
I think I will make college education free for everybody.
Ah, man, you just stole mine, bro. You just yeah. I was gonna say the same thing, except I was gonna say, especially community college. Community college should be free. You know what I mean? There's no way you should have to pay, for the community college, then pay for a university. I think, all trade and community colleges should be free. So that would be the first thing I would tackle would be the educational component, if I was president. So y'all, so we about to get into it, y'all. So normally what I do is we kind of just flow with some things, but I want to ask you one question, man, because I think that it is important, and I see it all the time with people. I see people in these relationships, right? They be in relationships for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, but they refuse to marry. It's like they're in a relationship, but when you say, hey, man, are you going to propose to her or what? Nah, man, I ain't going to do that. We got a good thing going on. Why is it that people are afraid of marriage? What is wrong with that?
Okay, so I feel like there's no one all the way across the board answer.
Okay.
But one of the reasons, a lot of the guys that I talk to, there's a fear of missing out. Fear of missing out. So I'm going to get married. I'm going to commit to this woman. I'm going to agree to remain faithful and not to sleep with anyone else. And I'm going to miss out on all of these other women who are going to come. And they are going to come. Believe that. Right?
Oh, yeah. The ring bring them on for sure.
Exactly. So that's one reason. Fear of failure is a really big reason. A lot of times people are afraid to fail at marriage or at anything. And marriage is, to some people is such a big step that if they don't feel 100% ready and feel like, they have unrealistic expectations going in to begin with. And so there's a great fear of failure when it comes to that. Do I keep going or you want to
No, keep
jump
going.
in?
No, keep going
Okay.
because to me, it doesn't make sense to me. It's like y'all been together 15 years,
Mhm.
and I mean, all you doing is doing the same thing. You just got a paper attached, and actually, it's a benefit because guess what? If you got a pension, when you die, she don't get that pension or he don't get the pension. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
exactly.
I always and I might be wrong. So tell me if I'm wrong. I look at marriage as a business. To me, marriage is a business.
It is. It is.
Okay.
A household should be run as a business in order for it to be successful. I say it all the time. But I will say this. I will say that a lot of times people don't see the benefit in getting married. I'll explain what I mean. Okay. So marriage for a lot of men in this day and age, it doesn't benefit them in the way that maybe it once did, right? As far as women, like some women from the examples that they've been given and from the relationships they've been in up until this point, there's more pain and consequence than there is pleasure. So it doesn't benefit them to get involved either, to marry. So when you don't commit, when you don't marry, it's easier to walk away. Do y'all curse on here?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. I just want to make sure. I take my shit, you take yours. Okay. We keep it moving. But when a man commits to marriage, and the marriage ends, I speak experientially. Sometimes, wow. you don't leave the situation as whole as you were when you came in, emotionally, mentally, or financially.
Okay. So since we're talking about marriage, what's your perspective on prenups? Because people feel like when you going into it with a prenup, you automatically cursing a relationship because what you're saying is something is going to happen, or do you think it's just protecting yourself?
It's a contract. It's a part of the marriage contract. That's how I look at it. It's an extension of the marriage contract. If both parties are okay with it, then fine. If one wants to and the other one doesn't want to, postpone the wedding, work this thing out, make sure that you're really a good fit, and move forward. But yeah, I don't think it's the taboo bad thing. But I also don't think someone should be blindsided. Like they should know up front before ever being proposed to that your team prenup.
Okay. Shay, what's your perspective on it? Coming from a woman's point of view, why do you feel so many people are in these long-term relationships, but they just not gonna get married?
Well, I kind of felt the way Jay felt too, that they're afraid of commitment, but they're also afraid of what they're gonna miss out on. It's kind of that, if I commit to buying a car, I can't turn it in 2 years and lease another one. So therefore, I'd rather, lease than buy, because I don't want to commit to something so long and I'm stuck with it and then I get familiar with it. But it goes back to the lack of tenacity that people have nowadays. They don't have the will to fight for anything, to put into anything, to get something beautiful out of it. As they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. But how many people in America want to go to Rome? Because Rome is beautiful, but it took time to build Rome. Imagine going to Rome 1,000,000 years ago. You wouldn't have wanted to visit Rome 9 times out of 10 because it wouldn't have been as beautiful as it is, because it takes time and pressure to build a diamond. So people just don't want to invest that time in there. And unfortunately, it's a lot of people of our culture that don't want to do that. And it's sad. It's really, really sad.
Yeah, and it's to me, it kind of bothers me that people waste years, 25, 30 years and not married. And they don't understand that, yeah, you've been with this person for 30 years, but guess what? When they die, you're not their next of kin. If they got a parent living, they got a child living, you're not the next of kin. Like there's perks to marriage.
It sure is.
It's not just that paper that with the black signature, with the black writing on it and all that. It's a lot of perks to it. And I think, I don't know, I just don't believe in that theory of, I call it playing house. I feel like after a certain time frame, are we gonna do this or not?
But people need to say that. That's another thing, like he said in the beginning of a relationship. I'm not forcing you to marry me, but what I am telling you is we ain't finna play house. So I give you 3 years. To me, 3 years is enough time for you to know whether or not I'm wifey material or not. Really, 6 months is really kind of where you could gauge that at. But I give somebody 12 months. I give you a year, okay? I would give you a year because it's only so long you're gonna be able to give me your imposter. It's only so long, and then your real person comes out. So if you are, I'm not gonna play house. I'm not gonna give you all my goodies and all my attributes and me cooking and cleaning and washing and sweeping and all that good stuff for you to run off with Sally Mae after I done taught you how to. Hell no. I'm giving you 12 months at the top, 2 years, and after that, it's a wrap. You out the door. But it needs to be made known in the beginning. Now, that's what I do agree. It needs to be made known in the beginning that this is what I'm looking for. I want a husband. I want a wife. And I'm not here to play no games. So if your mind ain't where my mind is, we good. You find somebody else and keep it moving.
Okay. So how long, let me ask you guys this. How long do you think it takes for you to know if you really want to be with somebody? For me, I know in about 90 days, I know if I want to invest my time. I think marriage, I would say about 6 months to a year. What you think? What you think, Q? What's your perspective?
I feel like it depends on the situation. Because I look at consistency, I look at communication, I look at just different things. Because a person could say, "Hey, I want to be with you, or I want to get to know you," but if you're not following, key components of like effective communication or consistency, I'm not going to invest my time with you. Like,
well, do you think it takes over 6 months to see if somebody's consistent?
No, I don't think it takes that long. I think you can find out if a person is going to be consistent.
Okay. Yeah. Consistency is that thing to me that I'm going to notice if you consistent with going to work. If you consistent with every time I talk to you, telling me you at the gas station. So either one, you ain't got no money, or two, you only put $20 in your car here and there. I'm gonna know if you ain't got no milk because you keep saying I gotta go to the grocery store. I'm gonna know what's going on because I'm gonna pay attention to you.
Plus, I think we get so caught up on the honeymoon stage. The stage where you fall asleep with each other on the phone. But after a week or two, you start seeing a person's real motives and start seeing the real thing. Oh, we already done established a pattern. I think that once we establish the pattern and once that pattern is broken, we're like, whoa, where was this person at?
Okay.
2 weeks we was on the phone talking for 3 hours, and now you busy. And now you got 3 jobs and you can't answer your phone.
Right. What you think, Coach? Tell us, Jay.
6 months is the exception, not the rule. And this is why I would say that, right?
Okay.
Like, I know when I was out here doing my thing, that representative was strong and he could give you a good 2 years.
Dang, a 2-year representative?
Yeah, he could. I'm being real with you. He could give you a good 2 years.
Wow.
Right. And so here's the thing. When you're talking about 6 months to a year, if you don't live with that person and see this person in every different possible scenario, then you really don't know them well enough to make an educated decision to marry them. You understand what I'm saying? So a 6 month, I mean, there are some times that people come into a situation and they're just genuine and they're just, they're a good fit. And you see the BS early on because everybody's coming with some bullshit. You just have to determine whether or not it's bullshit you're willing to deal with.
Gotcha. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So, but I definitely think that as a good rule of thumb, at least a year, and that's pushing it in my opinion, a good 2 years of consistent dating and spending lots and lots of time together in different environments. That's very necessary.
So to me, the whole 6 months, when I was saying that, I was saying to know if this person is somebody that I can see me moving forward with a relationship.
Gotcha, yeah.
And definitely moving forward with a marriage. But it's a kind of a catch-22.
Mm-hmm.
Because how many wives do we know that husbands killed them and they was with them for 10 to 15 years?
Exactly.
So you being with somebody for a long period of time doesn't mean that you're going to know all their ins and outs and everything else they got going on. I think it gives me a general understanding of what type of person you are. No, I may not live with you, but when I tell you for 6 months, we talking every day. We
Oh, I
talking
believe you.
today. We talking while you at work. We talking on your way to work. We talking on your way home. We're gonna be talking when you in the grocery store. When you get in the shower, put me on speaker. We good. Our phones is waterproof. Okay.
Yeah.
When I say
Yeah.
we doing all the good stuff, because what I don't want to do is waste my time. You cannot get it back.
It's
And
gone
people
forever.
think that it's me stalking or you being overbearing. No, I need to know what you are, and I need to see your consistencies up front so that I can either run or stay. So that's why I want to be all up in your face for 6 months to a year, because I need to know what I'm dealing with before I commit to you.
But to go back on what you said too, I want to be able to be with someone who I'm able to experience every season of their life and my life. Because at the end of the day, when we first meet each other, everybody's going to portray the good side of them. I need to know bipolar. I need to know whether you're crazy. I need to know how you are when you're mad. I need to know how you are with your family.
Guess what?
A lot of times we get some people, I talked to somebody and they were like, I'm not about to be in competition with your family. What do you mean? But I have to understand that their dynamics of their family, because they didn't really have a family organization. But I'm coming from a loving, close family, and they're like, whoa, like this ain't, I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, but I would never neglect my family. So I think that a person has to be able to experience you in every season of your life. I can't just say, everybody want to be like, I want to get married. Yeah, that's fine. But I'm not about to just jump into something, because the ceremony is a day. Marriage is a lifetime.
Most definitely. And you know what? One thing too, I'm a big family oriented type person. So it makes it very difficult for me to date. Not saying that just because my family don't like who I'm with, it's going to change something. But me being a very family oriented person, it helps that my family like who I'm with. You know what I mean? It makes things so complicated. Coach, tell us what's your perspective on you dating somebody and the family hates you?
Hate is such a strong word, but yeah.
Well, have a disdain for you.
Well, same thing. We'll use hate. Hate is good. I'll say this: it should have, in my opinion, zero bearing on the relationship,
Really?
because it's your life with this person.
Gotcha.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, not to be religious, but the Bible says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing, and he cleaves to his wife and he leaves his mother and father. Leave your mother and father. That means that their views and their opinions take a back seat.
Mm-hmm.
You live your life for you. If this person makes you happy, and if you're in no danger, you're happy, you're healthy, and you're well, and you're wealthy and prosperous, why not? Go ahead. They don't have to like that person.
Okay. What's your perspective on that, Shay? Actually, let me go to the comments real quick.
Muted.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, you were. Let me
ahead.
go to the comments. What's up, everybody? What's up, cuz? Becca Timbe said relationships are definitely an investment, but too often one of us ends up with the deficit when people aren't balanced financially, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. I have to 100% agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Joe said, I don't think there's a time frame on love or marriage. For everyone is different. I agree with that and disagree. I don't think it's a time frame on love, but marriage. If you with somebody, I just feel like, what are you waiting on? If you with somebody 3, 4, 5, 6 years, what are you waiting on?
I'm not waiting 5-6 years to be for me to say I do. Like, I feel like maybe a year and a half, maybe proposal, then maybe 2 years, maybe we planning something. But 6 years, I feel like we wasting what we wasted time for.
I have to agree with that. I feel like for me, I'm not gonna waste 2 years. Even that 1 year, I think in that 1 year, I think a proposal. You should be thinking about a proposal, or at least thinking about. But the thing is, I think before the proposal, it's one thing to have you come over and spend a night with me a lot of nights versus living with me. Because I think everybody, even though this goes against what the Bible says, but I'm very untraditional. I think you should live with the person first before you get married. You might not like that I snore. I might not like that you leave hair in the sink. I might not, I think you really don't know what you want to do until you physically live with the person. What's your perspective on that, Coach?
I agree with you. And not only that, you know, because it goes against my belief system, honestly, to live with somebody before you're married. But I do agree with that because of my experience and because of what I know. So what I'll say also is that prior to getting married, if you live together or not, there should be a season of no sex, because you need to know that your foundation is stronger than that.
Well,
Because
you might
sex
as well hang
clouds
up
your
the phone now. Disconnect Bearded Man Chronicles. Disconnect
So
Quinn.
wait. So
so here's what
Disconnect
here's the
all.
thing. Here's the thing. Sex clouds your judgment.
it does most definitely.
Didn't we just talk about this?
We did. We just said
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So listen, when you say no season of sex, do you mean like
We talking 2 weeks? We talking about a month? Like,
Let this man talk. Let Jay talk.
Honestly, like it's like everything else. It depends on the couple, and it depends on what they can withstand, and you know, certain things. But my thing is, like, I don't know, like, I know for myself, I think when I got married that time, I've been married like 3 times, but
wait.
that's a whole nother
You've been
story.
married more times than Elizabeth Taylor, bro.
So
listen,
this is what
okay.
qualifies me at this
Okay.
stage to talk about these things. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, but no, truthfully, I know that's crazy, but that's part of that's why I'm able to say the things that I say, because I've experienced it a few times, right?
Right.
But having a season where there is no sex involved, you get to see how this person responds, you know, and when they're irritable and whatever else. And so lack of sex can make some people grouchy and grumpy and whatever else. Here's the thing. You want to know that you're going to be with somebody, a woman, let's say a woman. You want to know that you're going to be with a man that should something happen to you and you can no longer please him sexually, he's still going to be there for you. He's not going to treat you any differently, right? And as men, like, you honestly need to know that you're with a woman who can be with you and be committed to you if something should happen to where maybe you become impotent or anything. And like, sex is not a thing because people's blood pressure and all this stuff, sugar, diabetes, like, you understand what I'm saying?
It messes
Exactly. So, you know, you need to be able to get along with someone, to vibe with someone, to connect with someone outside of sex, preferably connect prior to sex happening, and then be able to maintain that connection if for some reason sex is withdrawn or taken off the board. Because relationships, as important as sex is in a relationship, it's not the whole thing. It's not the sum total.
Oh, so what about the people, the sexual people, like, oh, I gotta try it out to see if it's good, if it's bad. But to me, I think they going into it the wrong way. You know what I mean? I think because what you're telling me is that, okay, you with me because my sex is good. What if, like you said, something happened and I can't perform the way I used to? Are you just gonna up and leave, or what are you gonna do? And I think, and I know we are physical creatures and things, and you have to be physically attracted, number one, to somebody. But that was a good point that you said, you know, about the whole getting to know a person without something sexual. Now I'm gonna let the panel say, because when he said no having sex, y'all just went crazy. I'm gonna start with you, Q. What's your perspective on that?
Well, I think it goes back to what we discussed earlier, Jay. At this point in my life, you know, a part of building a foundation, you know what I'm saying? You never want to be able to confuse good sex with love. Good sex is what it is, good sex. And I feel like a lot of times we fail to realize that when you have sex with somebody, it creates a soul tie. So it could be so good, and you sit up there talking about I love you, and the person that's giving it to you, like, I'm just hitting you. You know what I'm saying? So now you mad when you find out that they're not consistent or they got what they want. And now when the phone calls was coming, now that they stop, now you pissed because you're like, well, I done gave up this. And now it's not what you really think it is. So, like, even at this point in my life, hey, you have to be able to stimulate me mentally before anything jumps off physically. And you'll be surprised at how many people can't even have a conversation without, oh, what's up? What you want to do? Or what you want to do? Hey, like, I want to have a strict conversation. Let's talk about bills. Like, when we're talking about a future and all this other stuff like that, let's be able to have a full conversation about what our future looks like. Not just good. I could watch Twitter all day. But I was one of them people to be like, hey, I gotta test it out. Like I can't never be one of them people to say I gotta wait to say I do. Like
I get it. I feel that.
I
Okay.
can't because I need to know,
What's what?
are we
Yeah.
compatible? Are we are we compatible?
Yeah.
Like I feel like, but if you don't have communication, then you would never know. So I think communication in that area is very important, and that I should be able to look at you to know what turns you on, or you should be able to look at me to know what turns me on, and not just have to say it. We should be able to be in a room like, oh, it's time to go. We got to get up out of here.
For
But
sure.
yeah, that's about knowing your. I feel like that's about knowing your partner. But I mean, dating now, we made a foundation of we didn't have sex at first. We was just like we waited for a while. So,
Okay.
but it was cool though when it happened.
Yeah. Shay, what's your perspective on it?
Sex is not a big deal to me. I could go without it. I could do it. I mean, it's not a big deal. And it's never been a big deal to me. Do I like it? Yeah, but that's natural. But am I like pressed about it? No. So,
Okay.
that's it for me. So yeah, I
Okay.
was cool with that. But I wanted to go back to when he said about the family not liking you.
What's up, big bro?
So my girlfriend's family don't like me, and I'm cool with it. And KJ and I have quite a few conversations about her family and them not liking me and things of that nature. And we had a big blowout probably like a month and a half ago. And my girlfriend stayed neutral. I mean, that was her mom. And then it was her girlfriend. Ultimately, obviously, she came back home with me, but in the end, it puts her in a really sticky situation because she obviously still loves her mom, but she loves me. But like I told her, your family don't have to like me for us to be happy. Like there was no law in the book that said, regardless of whether I was with a man or a woman, if his family didn't like me or her family didn't like me, I really don't give a shit. But you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I know it makes her feel some type of way. So I try my best to just not say anything to anybody because I really don't have any boundaries when it comes to you offending me. And whether it's your mama or your sister, obviously whoever wanted can get it. But
So,
I just try to stay out of that.
so let me ask you this. Now, what if it was your son? What if your son, because Mac is what, 17?
He's 19.
19. What if Mac didn't like her? Now that's a difference.
They
It's your
don't.
child.
They don't like each other.
So
I
so
know they don't.
so how do you
I won't say they don't like each other. She feels that my son is very spoiled, but he is. He's the only child. So I didn't have anybody else to pour my love into but him. So ultimately, he got all my attention. He got all my love. He got everything he wanted. That was the only person I had at that time that I loved. So I don't know what else to tell you. I cleaned up his room till he was 16, probably. You know? and that was just that. He's an extremely spoiled kid and he wants his way, and that's just that. And he's not used to people coming in and setting kind of rules, so she's more of a rule person. She's strict. She wants stuff, this certain type of way. He's not used to that. So of course he's knee jerking with everything she says. If she says go right, you go left. You go left, you go right. So he's back in college now. We don't have to worry about that till next summer.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's really, it gets really sticky. It get really sticky, with the family and stuff like that. Again, I'm a big family person, and just because my family don't like who I'm with doesn't mean that that's going to change my perspective or my relationship. However, I can tell you, it does help when they get along and they like each other and stuff like that. It does.
We got a couple of comments on Facebook. We missed those. Mr. Shackleford said everyone has a different walk of life. Marriage is a man-made paper. So you can address that later on. When you rush things, marriage goes down after so long because the couple didn't use the friendship before marriage to learn each other. If it is a real friendship, it will show and prove itself. Sex definitely cannot maintain a relationship regardless of how good it is. That's Dante. This has to be a deeper connection for a lasting relationship. Marriage is difficult past 30 plus because of previous relationships or failed marriages.
So I need you to explain this to
yeah.
me, Coach. Why does and I get it, but I don't get it. Why does people say, "Oh, we need to be friends"? Because 9 times out of 10, when that relationship is over, friends is friends. We're gonna still communicate.
Mhm.
Most of the time, once that relationship dissolves, it's nothing. So why do people always push? We have to be friends first.
I'll give you a visual. I sat in a room full of couples who had been separated for time due to incarceration, right? And what I noticed with damn near every one of those couples was that they sat there and there were a few words exchanged and there wasn't a lot of interaction. They were just kind of sitting there. And so I had to like ask myself, like, hey man, why? Like, aren't you happy to see this guy? Aren't you happy to see her? Like, you've been away from each other. What's the deal? And I realized the relationships were sexual. And that's what they had in common. And that's what brought them together. And that's what kept them together. And that was the glue, right? So you didn't actually become friends with this person, because had you become friends with this individual, right? Then without the sex, you have all these things that you want to share with them. You have all these things you want to know about them, so on and so forth. So to answer your question, you said, why is friendship so important? Because if you aren't at a base, friendship is the base. That should be the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
You take the foundation. If a house, you try to build a house without a foundation, it will not stand. I promise you. Right. And so the thing is, if you have nothing else, you said it in a way, like when you have nothing else, you should have friendship. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you another real quick example. I had a young lady that I dated and I did her very wrong. She caught me red-handed, found out I was cheating on like 3 separate occasions. And she finally said, hey, you know what? I am done. I am leaving you alone. And to this day, we're still very good friends.
See, I was going to ask you that. So what happens in the case there's some infidelity? So I'm because most women are emotional, so they don't think they don't care about the friendship. They just thinking like, hey, you did me wrong. We no longer friends. So okay. You guys are. Did the friendship happen after, or did it take maybe like a year for y'all to have like a year off and then she came back, or did you guys just continue that friendship?
It took a little while. There was a little bit of space in there.
Okay,
not because, more so because I had to remove myself because I didn't want the relationship to be over. So I wasn't capable of being her friend without a hidden agenda of trying to get back. Right. Mm-hmm. So that had to subside. And once that subsided, we were able to be friends to the point that, you know, the woman I was now dating was able to attend functions at her home with me and vice versa.
Oh, wow.
We're talking about grown up, mature.
That's most definitely a grown up decision.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And so to this very day, you know what I mean? Like, even when with that relationship and everything, like, there was never a time like, my lady would be like, who's that? Oh, I'm talking to so-and-so. And she'd be like, oh, tell her I said, hey. There was no envy, no jealousy, no nothing. But then you have to understand, like, I had made some changes. And so the woman I was with had no reason. I didn't have a bad history with her. So she had no reason to feel like something wasn't right.
But it's how you set it up.
So my question is, when it comes to situations like that, are there set boundaries?
What do you mean?
Situations like what?
So like when you speak of like a mature, like let's use that as an example, like you're dating somebody and friends with your ex, with your ex. Are there set boundaries when it comes to that?
It depends on, every relationship is different. So I had one previous relationship prior to the one I'm describing to you guys now, where the female was like, yeah, I don't want y'all talking. Y'all can talk on social media. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm uncomfortable with her calling you to talk to you about her son. But you have to understand, like I was a father figure in his life at a point. So she's single, I'm with somebody else. He's doing some things and she knows he'll listen to me. So she reached out like, hey, could you talk to him? Like he's about to make a bad decision. He'll listen to you. That was an issue in one relationship. But then when in the next relationship, it wasn't an issue at all. So it's a case by case thing.
Yeah.
But there should always be boundaries. But boundaries are different because in the relationship I began talking about, I could literally like there were times I'd go to her home to do things at her house for her. And my lady didn't have an issue with it. So it depends on the person you're with.
Right. So if you guys listening, guys, this is what you call maturity. Because me personally, I don't, and this might be controlling. Listen, I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna be okay with that. I don't know if I can be okay. Yeah, I mean, I know this is your ex. Y'all had some type of life, or y'all share something once upon a time, share something together. But all that going to the house and nah, not with me. Now, if y'all want to be friends on Facebook, and I'm closely monitoring that. But all that,
right.
nah, I don't know. That's just me, but I'm still that's a flaw. Maybe that's a flaw that I'm working on. But yeah, I take my hat off to you, bro, because that's what you call that's an adult. That's maturity. That's what you call being an adult and understanding, because your friend can be like, oh, you treating her like a queen, but you treated me like shit. You cheated on me. So why is it that she get this good life and I didn't?
You know what she told me? She said, I'm proud of you.
Oh, she's a good woman.
The person that you're becoming, I'm proud of you.
She going to heaven.
So listen, so let me ask you this, because you said you weren't ready to leave. Is there something, a part of you, do it make you slightly jealous if she got a great guy and you know what I mean? Does that make you feel some type of way?
It did. There was a time it did, but now it makes me very, very happy because I love her enough to want to see her happy. And it's a love like how you love your family members.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
So love doesn't, and this is what I tell people when they say, oh, I just fell out of love. I don't believe in that shit, man. Like love doesn't go away, it changes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want to ask one more question because I know you have to jump on another call.
Nah, that was canceled, so we're good.
Oh, cool. All right, y'all. So listen, if y'all got questions, make sure y'all drop in the comments because brother is spitting some knowledge. If y'all got questions, y'all better drop it.
So I got a question, Coach.
Yes.
Why these days and age, poly relationships are at a higher percentage than monogamy?
Good question,
I
bro.
saw that question. I saw that question. Here's the thing. It's not. Statistically speaking, and this is based on a poll or a statistics taken in 2019, poly relationships only make up about 4 or 5% of relationships. So I will say there is an increase, but it's not greater than monogamy, right? So, and I think that the reason there is such an increase in poly relationships is because people are at this point. You got to understand, man, people have been hurt. They've been cheated on. They've been disregarded. Like, it's like, you know what? Maybe if I try something else, it'll work for me. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of that mindset. And so, yeah, definitely. And so people are cheap. So if everybody's doing it, or if it appears that everybody's doing it, if it's the new normal, or if it even, see, social media, what social media has done for us is it's taken, like, we think that, you know, now all of a sudden this is happening. It's not that it's starting to happen now or starting to happen more now. Social media has made it more visible.
Visual. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And easier
You know what I mean?
to do anything too. Social media complicates things.
Yeah.
All the time. Because it's like, I don't know. It's like when I'm single, I'm cool. But the minute I start dating, when I say my inbox be jumping, and I'm like, where was y'all at 2 months ago? And it's always somebody that you very attracted to. And I'm like,
Yes.
damn, the devil really come in different forms, shapes, and sizes. And it's like you got to stay on. You really have to stay on track because social media can easily. I'm telling you, it can
I totally
easily.
agree with you because change that relationship status on Facebook.
He said no, because I think that's going to make them. I think rings and stuff
You
because
change your
people.
status on the Facebook, then here comes that's what we doing now. Like you be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. That's yeah. I don't know, man. That's one of
but
those
I feel
situations.
like a
It's
few
like,
weddings where they have decided that they were open marriages and they said, hey, this is the route we're going. I'm like, I could never. I'm not about to spend money, thousands and thousands of dollars, and I got to share you. Well, we're not doing that.
CEO on Facebook said nobody wants you until you aren't available.
that's true. I agree.
Absolutely. It's a
Jackal Ford,
psychology thing.
Jackal Ford says friendship is a foundation towards something that could lead to something that could last forever. Me personally, with that whole friendship thing, I'm on more like Jay. I want you to be my friend before I want you to be my lover. First of all, because like you said, it's a foundation. But secondly, in a relationship, we could have our disagreements, but that friendship could draw you back in. That's my hook to hook you back. Because if in a relationship I've made you upset, I've hurt you, I did something bad to you, I could throw my friendship hook in. And I can say, we had good times. We was this is what we built together. These are the things we did as friends. And I think that that friendship foundation really sets the tone for a relationship. So I'll definitely want you to be my friend before my lover. Hey, Art.
Hey, what's up, Art?
With like date. Go ahead, bro.
I'm just. I mean, I don't know. I'm just not friends with any of my exes. Maybe one, maybe a strong two, but once it's dissolved, it's dissolved. And I mean, again, by listening to Jay, we wasn't obviously we wasn't mature enough to to handle a situation or because we let what we did in our relationship dissolve what we had, and neither one of us wanted to keep it going or try to fight for it. At that point we give up. But I think why most people think poly relationships are striving more than monogamy is because essentially I think people that does, and this is just my personal opinion, I think people, it's a barrier that you set up because I think people in their mind say, you know what, if they're gonna cheat, let me just have it open, and I'm not setting myself up to think they're not gonna do it. I know it's like that element of surprise is not there. But I don't think people really enjoy it. It's just
I don't think that too. I totally agree with you. I think a lot of women do it because in their head, like you said, if my man go cheat, I might as well know who he cheating with. And they begin to accept this foolishness. But yeah.
So I had a woman, she would never agree to poly situation, but she gave me passes. And this is before, like now people are saying hall pass. We never called it a hall pass. It was just a pass. And this was way before people started on podcasts were talking about passes. And what she told me was, she said, Jay, you're a man. You're going to be a man. I know who you are because I was your friend before I was your lover. I know who you are. And I know you're going to go out here and mess around and do your thing. She said, okay, let's establish some rules here. And what she said was, rule number one, no double dipping. One and done, right? And I was like, why? And she had a very good reason. She was like, because after 2 or 3 times, they start to catch feelings. Now we got a complicated situation. So one and done. If you're out at the bar, if you meet someone, they're down for the one night, you're down for the one night, you can literally call me and say, hey, not coming home tonight. See you in the morning, but no double dipping. Double dipping is a no-no.
Was this a young lady you married?
I did not.
Dang, she gave you a free pass and she couldn't get no ring.
No. So here's the thing. I probably should have, because not only was she giving me passes, but she didn't want passes herself. However,
I'm finna hang up. Okay.
She,
Bring your ass back on this camera, Shay.
I think you're the dumbest woman alive.
that's not
Out here
no.
looking
So what
stupid.
you have to understand is this, man. Like some women don't get any. They don't. That does the thought of having multiple men doesn't excite everybody. You know what I'm saying? Or multiple partners doesn't excite everybody. There are men who prefer not to do that. There are women who prefer not to do that. So that's just how she was. But her thing was like, dude, you gonna do shit anyway. So protect yourself, be respectful. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about it. Other than, hey, I'm not coming home tonight, and no double dipping. And my dumb ass couldn't even follow those rules.
So let me ask you this: would you have given her the same pass? Hell,
Absolutely not. Not at that time.
Exactly. That's why I said I want to hang up the phone.
Absolutely not.
No. Go ahead,
So-
Shay, get it. Go ahead. Get it.
That is just
You
the
asked the
dumbest
question.
shit in the world to me. It's like, man, it's so annoying. That's why, I mean, part of me is like excited that I don't date men because they literally have little regards and respect for women. And it's like, you can't, it's so much that we get attracted to other men too. It's other men that's sexier than you. It's other men that got more money than you. It's other men that's flyer than you. But a woman will commit to a scumbag, and he will have the
Damn.
best. When
Damn, I
I say
know.
he will have the best woman, cook, clean, educated, smart, take care of the kids, take care of him, go to church, pray for him before she pray for herself, and he will still cheat on her. And it's like women that says, well, you can go ahead and do you. To me, it's just a slap in the face for women who really hold men accountable. And the whole thing about, well, he take care of his kid or he just being a man. That's what society has told us, that we don't hold nobody accountable because you a man. And that means you get the fuck around with whoever you want because you a man. Fuck that. No, you fuck around with somebody on me, I'm chopping your shit off.
Jesus.
Okay. So at the
Sweet
end of the day,
toxicity.
stay away from guys. I'm good on them. I don't want to deal with them because they come with too
I
much
get it.
drama. They come with too much headache, and they have
What's
too
up,
many
sis?
issues, and I ain't got time for it. So I just like.
So here was the thing. There was a time or two where she said, like, I went to Vegas and she called me or whatever, and I was like, hey, what's up? And I was like, hey, we were having a conversation. I was like, hey, I need to go. And she was like, what's up? She was like, tell me what's going on. You. And I was like, yeah, I'm at the bar, da 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 da.
Damn.
Yeah. And so she was like, call me in the morning. You know what I'm saying? And like, she never gave me grief about this shit. Ever.
So okay, so
Hell
let me
no.
ask you this: what caused the demise of that relationship? If she was, how did you
Okay.
mess up
I broke the
relationship?
rules. I broke the rules.
Oh,
So she said, hey, don't get serious. Don't get involved. No double dipping. And I literally like got attached to this female.
wow,
Yeah.
damn.
When I
Yeah.
say I'm gonna hang up and we got 10 minutes left, who is this lady? Inbox me her name. I gotta talk to her. Ask her.
So,
Okay.
but here's the thing. What you have to understand is that there are people in this world, men too, men and women alike,
Yeah.
who view sex as just sex. Like,
It's nothing to him.
It is, and we just talked about that. KJ and I just talked about that, and I totally agree that sex is sex. And I don't believe that when someone cheats on you, they don't love you. That I don't believe that.
right.
My issue with the whole cheating thing is this: respect me.
Yeah.
Respect me and my body enough to say, I want to make sure you're protected.
Absolutely.
Not just physically protected, but spiritually protected. Because you make these spiritual connections with these
Absolutely.
other people that jump off on me, and I'm wondering why I'm fiddling at work.
Absolutely.
And I can't get my mind right. And my urine
Absolutely.
smelling like orange juice, and I ain't drank no orange juice because you out here doing
Spirits.
all this toxic, and you
Right.
bringing this toxicity into me, which maybe I'm breastfeeding my baby, so now my baby got that toxicity. Maybe I'm hugging my mom and I'm going to so I'm spraying all of this stuff around because you nasty and you can't be consistent. You can't commit. And that's what irritates me with this whole poly thing, with this whole cheating thing. Leave me the fuck alone. If you don't want to commit to me, bye.
Yeah. So this is what I tell my clients, because at the end of the day, my job isn't to judge them. My job isn't to make them conform to my way of thinking or my lifestyle. My job is to help them find relationship situations that make them happy, whatever that looks like for them. So when my client tells me, hey, you know, it's another weekend of jumping up and down on random meat, my question to her is, how do you feel about that?
People say this stuff to you.
Listen, I'm using that as an example. But
hey, but I'm sure that people say, you know, they say things like that.
Of course. But
I just want to have a class. I want to ask like 100 women, like, when your man cheat on you, what does that make you feel like? Like, what
if you ask them,
make you feel like?
If you ask 100 women, you'll probably get at least 20 to 30 different answers, I'm sure. Here's what I'm saying to you. But here's what I'm saying to you. So the client says that I may be a man who feels like a woman shouldn't behave that way if she's looking for love, right? However, it's not my job. It's not my place to say, why are you doing that? That's wrong. Do you understand how at risk you're putting yourself? I hope you're using it. I'm not your judge. I'm not the jury. How do you feel about that? I'm perfectly fine with it, and I want to continue doing it. Okay, let's talk about ways that you can do it and do it successfully to where everyone involved is happy and safe, right? Or if you say, hey, I don't like that. I want to stop. Okay, well, let's devise a plan and come up with some exercises to help you to grow and stretch your muscles to a point that you acquire the discipline to do the opposite of what your impulses are telling you to do.
But is it you being their boss, or is it you holding them accountable?
Okay, I get what you're saying, but you have to understand something. If I want to eat fried chicken every day, and I know the consequences of eating fried chicken every day, and I don't care about the consequences of eating fried chicken every day, there's nothing you can say to me that's gonna change it.
You're right.
So the best that you can do for me.
But what if
if I'm your doctor, it's not gonna stop. It's nothing I can do to change your behavior. But as your doctor, I'm not gonna say, well, you should probably eat it from Kentucky Fried Chicken because
no. But what you can do is you can give them alternatives. Let's try air frying it instead of frying it in vegetable oil. Let's try a less fatty, you know what I'm saying? Let's
peanut oil
or something.
Sunflower seed oil or whatever.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is, if you're gonna do it anyway, right? Then I have to make sure, okay, well, let's find the best possible way for you to do it, because you've got your mind made up that this is what you're gonna do. And I can tell you, like, hey, and if I ask you, do you think this is good for you? And you honestly say, probably not good for me, but that's the way it is. That's the way it's gonna be. It's not gonna change. So here's what you have to understand.
What about the people that come with low self-esteem and who have not had the guidance, or who have not had the love given to them? So then they put themselves in a position to feel like every man that I meet or every woman that I meet that I have to sleep with to think that I get love.
Right. Oh yeah, I run into that all the time. And what has to happen is there has to be lots of exercises being done. There has to be lots of homework given. There has to be a shift in the thinking. Like, you literally have to do. How do I explain it? Like, you literally have to give them certain cues to encourage them to change their thought pattern. And so it's like, whenever I start to feel this way, I'm going to do, it's called neuro-linguistic programming, if you ever heard of that. I can do this particular motion with my hand or my foot or whatever. And every time I do that, it'll trigger a different thought in my mind, and it'll change how I'm feeling in the moment, which will in turn change how I respond. Like, that's a real thing, man.
So let me ask you this. out of all your clients, what's the number one reason why people cheat? Is it because they unhappy? Is it because maybe they have a sexual addiction? What's the number one reason you see that your clients cheat?
It's a little bit of it's no one answer across the board.
Okay.
So some people cheat because they're in non-sexually satisfying relationships. Some people cheat because that's all they know.
Really?
Yeah, I was that guy. I cheated because I had cheated. There was a time in my life where I cheated on every woman I ever had a relationship with, and it's all I knew. And not to do it was foreign to me, right?
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah. And so,
but to me, that whole thing, not you per se, but to me, this has been going on way before you, me, my grandmama, everybody was born. It has been embedded in us to believe that it is somewhat okay to cheat long as the house is being taken care of, the children are being fed. So as we've gotten older and the world has come to this place of 2022, it goes back to where a lot of men cheat because women don't hold them accountable.
Okay, and there's an element of truth to that. However, if we're talking about the Black community, we have to have a bigger conversation. And that conversation relates to slavery, because we are, what do they call it? Genetically predisposed, or I'm not predisposed, I think is the term. Predisposed to mate and move on, right? So there was a time when a male slave was a stud, and that's what his job was. I go, I have sex, I impregnate, I leave. So what happens is, after a while, it becomes a part of your DNA, so to speak, or a part of your mental makeup subconsciously that you pass. And I understand people are going to say, oh, you're making excuses and this and that. But science doesn't lie. You understand what I'm saying?
Science lies, but I know my mama and my mama's mama and my mama's mama's mama was all married for 20, 30 years. So with the whole slavery BS, I'm talking about from what we know. Because most of us ain't read no book. I can
here's the thing. When something is in bed, I'll give you another example. And studies have proven this. If your mother and father were people who, when approached hostilely by people like, say, the awful cops, right? They suppressed their emotions and they didn't respond, the way they really wanted to. 9 times out of 10, their children will have a very low tolerance for that, and they will buck on that because of this. What was suppressed in them has now been passed down to you, and your tolerance level for it, it's no ceiling. It's like, no, we're not doing this. So this is a real thing. This really happens. But here's another thing you have to look at, though. So, okay, let's say it starts with that. Men are used to just sleeping around, right? And then when it gets to a point, like for me, growing up, I was taught that this is what I was supposed to do as a man.
Oh, see, okay,
definitely,
okay,
yes.
okay,
yeah.
Yes.
So that's where that comes from.
Yes.
It wasn't like they pulled me to the side and said, "Hey,
exactly.
you a man." But my examples, I'll never forget. I remember seeing this older guy that I looked up to in my neighborhood, and I always hung out with the older guys. So I remember seeing him and talking to him, and there was these new girls that moved in the neighborhood, and he had already slept with the older sister. And I'm like, bro, and he was like, yeah, man, that's old news, man. Whatever, I don't mess with her no more. And so the girl was crying, she was upset or whatever, blah, blah. And I remember thinking to myself, why would you sleep with her one time and then just treat her bad when you could just keep sleeping with her? It didn't make sense to me, right? But that was what he was taught inadvertently by the people that kind of raised him. Is like, hey man, you screw him and move on. It's the
cycle.
It's the cycle.
And somebody have to break the cycle.
Right. And so even though I didn't adapt the thing of sleeping with you one time and leave you alone, I did adapt that mindset of, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what men do. We sleep with whoever we want to.
And get a pass.
and get a
And that
pass.
goes back to what I was saying, that at some point, this is why I have these questions in my head, because you have women who will knowingly have a man who's married or got a girlfriend and will sleep with that man in their heads because somehow, somewhere down the road, I don't know if they've been taught that. I don't know if this is what they feel like that's all they can get. I don't know if I don't know what it is. So in my mind, it's like, why do we don't value ourselves? And then to me, it goes back to the men that don't pour into the women to show them their value by the lack of their ability to keep that dingling with one woman.
I agree with you.
Spread all over the world.
I'm not disagreeing.
5 baby mamas. Like, really? You got
I agree with you
100%.
100%.
5 baby mamas? Really?
But the answer or the
But that may
solution
not
to
be
the
his
problem-
fault.
Right.
It could be she was. I mean, what if you? Okay, just like you have toxic men, you have toxic women. What if you just have that? Like you said, there's a cycle, and I think you attract certain people. So what if he's a good guy, but something about him is keep attracting these dogmatic women, and he's with them, and then he have a kid, they break up. He with one. So I guess that goes both ways, because yes, we have a lot of men that cheat, but women can do it. I'm
not saying that women can't do it. I totally don't. I'm not saying that, because there are some women out here that's been touched by something, and it's not an angel. But I also think that, allegedly God made the man first, that he took a rib out of him and made us, and that you guys are the people that's supposed to allegedly provide and all this other stuff. So at the end of the day, I feel that it starts with the man. If it's going to start with the man in the world, it's going to start with the man with everything else and trickle down. Mm-hmm. And somehow, some way, men have to teach men that when your boy come to you and tell you, oh, girl got a fat ass, you remind him that he's married and don't entertain it. But when you sitting back like, yeah, man, she do got a fat ass, at this point, you have entertained it, and you are just as guilty as he is, because you are your brother's keeper.
So what about the men? So what about the men who are married to women that see the fat ass first and say, hey, babe, look at her ass? Because that happens. That happens a lot.
I don't know no women like that, man.
It happens.
You said, what about the what again?
What about the women?
Okay.
Who see the other woman with the fat ass first and actually point it out to their men? That happens, and that's not.
Well, that's their relationship. I ain't talking about that.
And that's also a defense mechanism that she put up, because she knows that you like that. It's a defense mechanism, because she already knows. I agree with that too. It's. I think people set themselves up for these defenses because they know who you with.
Right.
But again, but what they have done was accept. I love this person. I know that they're gonna be this way. Yeah. But what I need to do is put up a defense so that I can tolerate.
I agree with that. I agree with that. So here's the thing: me being who I am, and today, if I'm in a relationship and I'm with my woman, and I see, if I'm not, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not going to sit here and play games like I don't look at women. If I'm not with my woman and I see a nice looking woman, I'm going to look. Nothing wrong with looking, right? But if I'm with my woman and I see it coming, ass so fat you can see it from the front, I'm going to look the other way. I'm going to look down. I'm going to walk over there and start hugging to get something to reassure her, because I understand these things and the value of these things now. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't always understand that. And so that's kind of how I help men. I'm like, bro, like, listen, a woman told me this one time. She said she was in a hotel and she was checking out or paying for the room, and she saw this woman walk out, and this woman was like just brick house, right? And she saw the woman and she was dressed to kill, right? She saw that woman walk out and she said in her mind, oh my God, I hope he doesn't see her, right?
Yeah. Oh, that her husband don't see her.
Don't see that brick house coming out of that door.
Wow.
Right? So
that's sad.
And we had a whole conversation about it, and I understand it. So I understand that sometimes women do see women that are like, damn, like I don't match up to that, right? But then if you love your woman, you have to let her know, you know what I'm saying, that I'm not even comparing you to that because I know who you are. I know what I have here. That's a question mark. So all I see is a damn question mark in that red or in that blue or in that yellow. It's a fucking yellow question mark, right?
Yeah.
But you're tried and true. So, and that's what I try to help people to understand, men and women. Like, yeah, it all looks good. And it may be better or it may not. Are you willing to take that gamble though?
Right.
I think that women are just smarter at what they do. You know, as much as men look at women's asses, trust and believe, women look at their breasts.
Be quiet.
Shay about to get you, Q. Look
That
at
is
her
not
face.
true.
Shay.
Oh, it is true. It is true.
Well, I think we are smarter, but I think if we're gonna put women with men as far as who's faithful and who's a cheater, I will want to bet that women are more faithful to men than men are to women. And I'm willing to bet that men will cheat on a good woman, even if he could know that he has a perfect woman, but he's willing to cheat and jeopardize that. And a woman having a good man, she's not going to jeopardize it. She's not.
You don't think so?
Nah. Women do it every day, especially now. It's becoming more and more of a thing.
Jay.
I'm serious. I'm not here to coddle you. No, and I mean that's an all good fun, but women are just as listen, like you have more women now who behave exactly the way that men behave.
Why?
Than probably at any other time in history.
Why?
Well, because they choose to. Because they choose to.
We went 7 minutes over. Okay. Well, nobody be honest. And
cheating is a choice.
They are today because we have gotten to a place where we're tired of being dogged out and mistreated and made to feel like we are beneath you guys and we are not shit and that you are the prize and we the option.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
is cheating the answer? Is cheating gonna fix it?
Is cheating gonna fix what?
What you just said, that the men are cheating and treating women this way.
It's not gonna fix it. But when you guys were cheating, you wasn't fixing anything either. So I mean, it's a double-edged sword at this point.
So as a dating and relationship coach, what I like to say is we have to stop pointing fingers, accept accountability. Listen, like you said earlier about us men, we have to accept accountability and we have to commit to change. Otherwise, we're going to keep, it's like a tennis match, back and forth, back and forth.
And then it becomes dangerous.
We can't pull accountability out of the hat when women start being dogmatic. We should have been pulled accountability out of the hat when our race was having more babies than marriages. We should have pulled that out of the hat then.
Absolutely.
We should have pulled accountability out of the hat when diseases was running rapid throughout our community. We should have pulled accountability out of the hat then. We can't pull accountability out of the hat in 2022 because women decided at the end of the day, I'm not taking this shit from you and I'm gonna fuck your daddy and your brother to just show you that I don't give a shit. I don't necessarily agree with that, but what I'm saying is it has become anger. And I just want to understand, like, why did our men do that? Why did they think that it was okay to do that?
It's because women are tired of the bullshit.
Yes, most definitely.
Listen, I understand that. But okay, so it's okay to be tired of some bullshit, but you don't have to add to the bullshit.
You're right. It's petty. You're right. I will tell you that. It's
right.
petty, but you know.
So that's like me saying, hey, you ain't give me none for 3 weeks. That's why I went and hit Shaquita. You don't want to hear that.
Well, most of the time that's what they say. Okay, so I mean,
and listen, they don't listen. In cheating ain't like what it used to be. Remember what's the song where Barbara called Connie and she told they cheated?
Oh yeah.
Now they go into the house, they killing you. They riding up on you, they taking you out. So
now,
yeah,
I definitely think we need to get to a place where we heal from this toxicity that has been passed
Yeah.
on from generations to generations. Our younger generation really don't have anything to look up to. I see 40, 50-year-olds still cheating. I still see 40, 50, 60-year-olds still having babies.
Oh,
I know
sure.
a man who's 60 years old that's just had a baby. Like,
Mm.
it's like, and it's not like somebody who's 50 that had a baby. This girl is like 24. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like we have gotten to a place where everything that's crazy is acceptable. And I think our
Mhm.
women, I know for a fact, I have friends that are truly, truly hurt and have been repeatedly hurt for years by men. And I'm talking about Black men. So at
Right.
some point, we have to start educating our Black men and our Black women to appreciate and respect each other more than what we have done in the past.
And that's what coaches try and do. That's what we that's the so people are like, the reason that I became a dating and relationship coach is because, for one, I was doing it anyway and wasn't getting paid for it, right?
Right.
So so I was like, hey, I can actually get paid doing it, and I enjoy doing it because I want to see people happy and in healthy relationships. As someone who has been through very bad relationships, and I've been through wonderful relationships, I want everyone to be able to experience that. Some people just don't know any better. When we talk about why some people stay in toxic relationships, one reason is because they don't know what a healthy relationship looks like.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's true.
You are right.
You know what? We're gonna have to do a most definitely a part 2 to this, because I knew, even though we had topics, I knew this is a great topic. I knew we was gonna go, this conversation. I knew we was gonna bounce around. This was a great conversation, and I most definitely appreciate you because you're honest and everything.
Yes.
Before we go, tell us now. You are dating a relationship coach.
Yes.
And you're married, right? You're married, right? Or
I'm
you're not?
married, I'm single, I'm dating, I'm all of that shit.
You
man.
all of that. Okay. So look at Shay. So listen, look at Shay.
That's why I
like-
said that. That's why I said that.
so tell us, or tell the men this on here that's
Yeah.
probably going through the same thing that you went through. What was that turning point for you that made you say, you know what, I'm not doing. I don't know if you have kids or daughters or sisters or whatever.
Mhm.
What was that driving point that made you turn around and say, you know what, I can't keep doing this because eventually I'm gonna get some hot grits on me. So
Okay. Yeah. So having daughters definitely was a big part of it, because I want to be a great example for my daughters, and I want them to be I want to treat women the way I want men to treat my daughters, number one.
mhm.
Right. And so I don't believe in being a hypocrite. So if I'm going to preach this, then I have to live it. Right. So
Right.
it's like, yeah, I can't be out here doing that. But bigger than that, and even more than that, man, I got tired, bro. Juggling women is extremely exhausting, and it's extremely expensive.
Yeah.
So I just got tired. And what I realized was that if I invested all that time and energy into the woman that I want to be with, the benefits that I reap are far, far greater. And I am literally, honestly and truthfully, at a stage in my life that I've experienced what it's like to be with a woman and not desire to have sex with anyone else. Because I've been with a woman that I was in love with and had sex with another woman, and the sex was not fulfilling. I got off.
Okay.
But it wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, I would have had, it's vulgar, but I would have had a better time handling it myself.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So once you reach the point where you have a desire for this woman and you understand, like, I want steak, don't want steakums, don't want bacon, don't want, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you understand that when you really give yourself to a person in that way, nothing else satisfies, you realize how futile it is to go out here and do all this other stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, guys, this is the end. We're gonna most definitely do a part 2 to this. So I appreciate you guys for taking the time out and just come vibing with us every Wednesday. But before we leave, I want to do a giveaway. I'm gonna do a $50 giveaway because I appreciate you guys for coming on. So I know Shay and I had talked, and we're gonna do something next week too. So y'all make sure y'all tune in because we're gonna give. I don't know the amount next week, but we're gonna do something for you guys next week. So y'all most definitely tune in. But I wasn't gonna do it this week, but I am. We're gonna give $50 away. Shay, how you think we should go about giving our viewers this?
You already know who I chose.
Okay,
but-
so go ahead. Okay, so go ahead and tell us why you chose this person and why you think we should do this. And if you don't win this week, you still got next week. But
Well,
Shay,
I chose this particular person because they have been truly committed from the very first day. They was on interactive, very vocal. They've been one of our co-hosts a couple of times. So it's no other than Becca Timbe, who I dearly, dearly love. He is such a sweetheart. And we've had conversations off of here and on here. And I truly, truly appreciate him. Bearded Man truly appreciates you. We talk about you all the time. And you are truly, truly an asset to Bearded Man Chronicles. So we appreciate you, Becca Timbe.
so Becca Timbe, if you still here, do you have Cash App? If so, drop it so we can send this out to you. And we greatly appreciate you rocking with us since it started.
We do, truly,
we do because like Jay know, we can't do this without you guys. You know, we need the viewership, we need the feedback and everything. So we just really appreciate all of you guys. And next week we're gonna do probably do I don't know. We
ain't
don't
talking
decide
about it yet. Don't say
but,
nothing.
yeah, we're not gonna say that, but we most definitely gonna do it next week. You know, so
Like we're gonna give away a car. Okay.
So we appreciate this. Hold on, let me do this real quick.
What we are gonna do is give away some certificates to Mr. Jay Christian for y'all to go see him and
Yes.
talk to him and listen.
Yes, that
Jay,
would
when
be
I
good.
see you people, I don't want you telling them nothing but the truth. If it's gonna hurt their feelings, so shall it be. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything that's worth hearing ain't always gonna be what you want to hear. So we got to get how much you charge for a session, and we're gonna start auctioning off these sessions to some of these people, including myself, so we can have some conversations about some things.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm down.
Hold on, let me make sure it went through. Yeah, that'd be great. Let us know. We'll get some sessions. And you can go talk to Jay. I just sent to Becca Timbe again. I appreciate each and every last one of you guys. Jay, I appreciate you because this was last minute. You jumped on.
Thank you.
And we greatly appreciate you. Tell the people where they can find the Cognac Room podcast.
All right. So we are on all streaming platforms, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, all of those. We drop a new episode typically every Sunday. Sometimes it's a little later. Life happens.
Right.
Also, you can find us on Grind City TV on Roku. It's a Roku channel. You can download the app, or you can put it in your browser at grindcity.biz and watch every Thursday at 9 p.m. Of course, we have the YouTube channel, and that's about it.
All right, y'all follow him because he be dropping knowledge, and more importantly, he tells the truth, and I like that. He tells the truth. You don't get up and say, "Oh, I'm this perfect guy." No, you tell the truth. You fucked up in the past, and
absolutely,
you changed and stuff. And I think people like that that you're accountable, and it shows people, okay, yes, this guy did do this. This is how he can tell us what to look for and what not to do. So I'll see you guys Wednesday. I appreciate you guys. Tune in, and it's all the time. Make sure to share this live. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe. We out. We love you guys. Till next Wednesday. We out of here.